Ready, set, Zo. New York City's new mayor, Zohran Mamdani, doubling down on what he calls a democratic socialist agenda, and he's wasting no time. Just hours after taking office, Mamdani signed a flurry of executive orders, and today he signed another order creating a new Office of Mass Engagement, whatever that means. Let's go to correspondent CB Cotton in New York City with the details. CB?
Hey, Guy. Well, Zohran Mamdani came onto the political scene with democratic socialist policy ideas, things like free buses, free child care. It earned him more than 1 million votes in the general election, and now as mayor, he's trying to make sure that his reach with New Yorkers does not let up. As you mentioned, signing an executive order today, creating the Office of Mass Engagement, and he picked a fellow democratic socialist to lead up the new effort. But today, Mamdani is also addressing criticism for one of his executive orders that has revoked every executive order signed by his predecessor, former Mayor Eric Adams, after Adams was indicted on federal corruption charges. That indictment was later dropped by the Trump administration's DOJ, and Mamdani is framing the move as a necessary reset to win back a skeptical city. But among the Adams-era orders that Mamdani has rescinded are ones that were seen as support for Israel and Jewish New Yorkers, including one that adopted a broad definition of anti-Semitism. Mamdani is insisting today, though, that his administration is still committed to protecting Jewish New Yorkers.
My administration will also be marked by a city government that will be relentless in its efforts to combat hate and division. And we will showcase that by fighting hate across the city.
Meanwhile, the National Jewish Advocacy Center is demanding answers after it says 2 posts on the official New York City mayoral X account appear to have been deleted after the new mayor took over. The group says the post discussed the previous administration's efforts to combat anti-Semitism. A Mamdani spokesperson has not responded to our repeated requests for comment, but this spokesperson did insist to the New York Post that the deleted social media posts are simply being archived. Guy.
All right, CB, thank you very much for that report. Well, Mamdani's supporters, and there's a lot of them, they're getting their first taste of what his leadership might look like in that city. A lot of them showed up for a disastrous block party, as it was billed, with no food, which is a familiar sight, unfortunately, under communism, and no bathrooms. One attendee told the New York Post, quote, "It's not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting food and music." Another said, quote, "I could have watched this from home." With that, let's bring in John Ashbrook, co-host of the Ruthless Variety program, a great podcast, and Molly Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist and a Fox News contributor. Happy New Year. Great to see you both.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, Molly, I want to start with you and this soundbite, which was from the inaugural address, the speech given from Mamdani. A lot of people noticed it immediately. He calls his brand of politics democratic socialism. A lot of people heard something more sinister than that right here.
We will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the 2 we all share: New Yorkers.
Molly, the warmth of collectivism, and it's sort of this utopian sounding sentiment, but we've seen coercive collectivism through history resulting in untold human suffering.
Yeah, you have to have had a very poor education in the history of collectivism to think that warmth is anything associated with it. When we look at collectivist societies that oppose rugged individualism, by the way, rugged individualism is what built this country and is what has made this country so great in so many ways. But collectivism, is associated with not having heat in the winters and not having any food to keep you warm. And to have him talk about it as if it's a positive thing is really disturbing. In our country, I think we view society as something where individuals owe a debt to society. We want to be good law-abiding citizens. The vision that he's painting is of a society that owes individuals certain things, and this is what we've seen in in former communist countries and has not worked out well for any of them.
No, and certainly not for the people. Worked out pretty well for a lot of the elites for a while, which is another feature of communism. But it's just interesting. He's very much embracing what he calls the warmth of collectivism, rejecting the frigidity of rugged individualism upon which the country was built. And then, John, his supporters show up for what they're told was a block party, and it's freezing, and there's no food, and they can't even find a toilet. That seems kind of like an appropriate little segue into this administration.
No, it's exactly right. I mean, it's what people will get with a guy like him. You know, Molly is exactly right. Individualism is what built this country. And when he starts talking about the warmth of collectivism, what that warmth is going to come from is him basically taking all of our civil liberties, our United States Constitution, and all of our personal property, throwing it in a trash can and burning it and saying, hey, do you like the warmth coming off of that fire? This guy is an absolute horrible, horrible development in this country, and I hope everybody outside of New York will look and see what's happening there and be like, no, I don't want that in my city.
I want to play quickly. This is a soundbite from one of the Mamdani supporters who showed up in New York, sort of listing out the expectations that the Mamdani crowd has for the new mayor.
Zahran, ahdan wa wa'dan means in Arabic, keep your promise. You promise us, keep those promises. Number one, immigrant. No ICE in New York City. We all immigrant in this country. This country was built by immigrants. Second, lower the rent, keep New York City safe for all people from all religion and background. Third, free Palestine. You promise us if Netanyahu, war criminal who committed genocide in Gaza, ever visit New York City to be arrested.
All right, so we got the genocide lie there. 3 bullet points from that woman, one of which was abolish ICE, basically, the other of which was free Palestine, Netanyahu in handcuffs. John, this is what his base is demanding. Do, like, ordinary New Yorkers know what they've gotten here?
I mean, it's insane. I mean, people from New York want basic services from their local government. And he actually ran on all these promises about buses and remember the stupid grocery thing? Like, he ran on local problems, and now he's talking about global changes, and people are expecting all of these international changes. And the two things just do not meet. Yeah, go ahead.
There's also an issue here where a lot of this country feels like we are pushing against a system that has worked very well for a lot of people. Rule of law, private property. They look at what's happening, you know, with this story of the Somali fraud in Minnesota, and they're worried that the country is going to fall apart. And when you see what Mamdani is doing and saying, let's take all of these bad ideas that have already put the country to a breaking point and let's make them even bigger. And this woman saying what we need is more mass, uncontrolled migration from countries with no attempt at assimilation. This is the type of thing that is concerning a lot of Americans, and he's embracing it.
It's insanity, and it's coming at the same time as we're seeing what's happening with the Somali population in Minnesota and other parts of the country where there's just rampant fraud. This unfettered migration is a huge problem.
And we will be covering that fraud in the very next segment, as a matter of fact.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.